Good morning, everyone. Anne-Marie Band here for July 1st for Moneyball Morning in the Benzinga Pro platform. Hey, I've got a couple of very good images to show you, and I want to start there first because what we're seeing is something that we can assess physically and visually. So have a look at these images, okay? So this is a 6-month performance of the S&P. And you can see that healthcare, energy, some utilities, and aerospace and defense. Now, this makes total sense, right? Aerospace and defense, because of the situation in Ukraine and the armament increasing all over the place. We know that these guys are going to get more money and more contracts. Just read something from the G7 that said they're putting $600 billion into the open quotations war, close quotations effort in Ukraine against Russia. We do not want this to spread and metastasize. That's me talking with my hands and everything falling around my desk. So that's what we're looking at. Now, we go to a month, and what we see is the pulling off of motion. We can see that, Exxon up 40%. It's pulled back. Even being up 40% in the last month, it pulled back 10%. And you can see that even healthcare services, the war machine, REITs, all of these things are still holding a narrative that's bringing inflows into the space. Now, let's look at last week. End of the month inflows didn't really look like that across the broad indices, but you can see that things are lifting. Now, Berkshire Hathaway's had an absolutely horrific performance event, and so they are just bouncing off of terrible levels. They've just fallen like a stone. So we can see financials lifting a little bit. We can see the healthcare lifting a little bit. We can see the industrials lifting. Bigger move into utilities as this loud voice of recession, recession, recession. But as the voice of loud recession, recession, recession cranks up, what we're actually seeing is inflows. So now what we want to see is, does next week's performance look like this? So I'll be bringing us up to speed on that one. All right, now let's look at what we've got for the day. Right now, we're fading a little bit, right? We're down maybe 75 cents now. We were down a bit more, but the 4-hour chart shows the same thing it's shown for the last couple of days. In essence, we're down unless we pick the floor to buy and we get out immediately. And so we can still see we're making lower highs and lower lows in the broad formations. And so this should tell us, hey, listen, we either go landlocked or we try to make quick trades at the top of these ranges short. The one fly in the ointment is what I showed you over there that's showing the inflows. Now, the narrative is, hey, listen, we've seen inflows look like that from March, April, May. This one, we did not see it from the broad market, but right after that, it fell. And so if it's going to be the same, then we'll fall to new lows. If it's going to show a difference, we'll hold the floor. So we're going to put an alert here on the floor of price action on the SPY. And we're going to do that also for the Qs. Now, the Qs are much more savage on the downward space, but they are trying to hold. So the floor we want to look for, again, my thought, it's still this one from yesterday. So 275 is where we'll put this alert. And so these are the numbers we're going to be looking for on the floor that says, hey, listen, we've had buyers there. So we're going to anticipate buyers, but if not, if the buyers do not come in and defend at the level, we break lower. Now, here's the next thing. The big surprise would be if we break to the north. And so that's going to be above the 378 area. But we broke that yesterday, and at 380, we also began to collapse. So there are going to be two ranges. So what we want to see is, one, we come into 378. If we fail it, we then hold the 376. And I can't put an alert here right now because it's going to go off right away because that's where we're battling, right against this zone. For the Qs, we're doing exactly the same thing. So what we want to watch for is, are we looking at the same trend, or is the undercurrent flow in the market that we just looked at from the last week going to give us an updraft? All right, we're going to pay attention. What we've seen is still making more new 3-month lows. So a lot of the market is still weak, but we really are not spending time down here in these lower ledges. So let's see how we close this week. It's going to be really important. VIX is down and it could come down a little bit more. It's going to be thin volume. A lot of people are already out having their parties at the Hamptons. All right. I know, kind of a longer one today. A lot to show you. See you soon.